Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the episode 3 for Salesforce Apex Triggers training, and we're going to discuss the third scenario on the Salesforce. So here's another scenario. In the second episode, we talked about how to stop a user from inserting any duplicate records in the account object. Here in this episode, we're going to talk about writing a trigger to update the account records to hot upon changing any opportunity stage to closed one. Before that, make sure that opportunity object is related to the account object, because there should be a relationship between these two objects. Then only you can execute that. But in this case, account and opportunity are both standard objects, and they have the relationship. That's why I can directly execute that into the Salesforce ecosystem. But if they don't have the relationship, then just make sure that they do have the relationship. Or if you are creating in the custom objects, like two different custom objects, like account one and opportunity one, then in that case, you should draw the relationship between these two objects. Then only you can execute this trigger. So for now, what I'm going to do is the same way. There are a couple of things to remember before writing a trigger. The first thing is trigger type. What type of trigger you are writing to solve this issue? Second thing is trigger context. In what context you are writing the trigger and which object you are writing the trigger. So our first answer is there. The trigger type is after. I mean, there are only two triggers. First one is before and the second one is after. So this is the after trigger, because this should happen. This should take place something happening on the opportunity record. So in the opportunity object, if the stage of the record changes to closed one, then only this trigger should work. So it should be after trigger, and trigger context is after insert and after update. Anything can be happening there. Like if you are inserting a new record that has a relationship with any account, then also it should fire. If you are inserting completely new record, or if you are already updating the record that is already existing in your opportunity object, then also it should fire the trigger. And the object is opportunity. So we got the answer. These are the key things that should be kept in mind. So after trigger we're writing, and the trigger context is after insert, and after update it should fire, and the object is an opportunity. So let's go to the org. Okay, this was the second scenario. I'm taking you to the org, our developer edition org. Here's the org. So I'm going to go to the developer console. I think that's already open. Here's the developer console. Let me just remove it. Let me write from the new. So the navigation is same. You should go to the setup, then go to developer console. Then that will take you to this page, this window. Then go and hit the file, new, and Apex trigger. As this is a scenario 3, I'm just going to name it scenario 3. This should fire on the opportunity object, because we already discussed that it will fire only after if something is changed, like if the stage is changed to closed one. So closed one, that stage is an opportunity object. That's the reason we're going to pick opportunity object. This is a subject. Now hit submit. Okay, our trigger is ready now. Our trigger framework is ready. So trigger name is scenario 3, and it's going to fire on opportunity object. But our trigger context, the trigger type is different. So we're going to specify that this is after. It should fire an after insert. Also in the context of after update. So I'm again going to specify the trigger context. If the context is trigger dot is insert, or if the trigger is update and the trigger type is trigger dot after. So what it is basically saying is fire a trigger on opportunity object if this is happening after insert, or if this is happening after update. So in case of after insert or after update, in both of the contexts, the trigger gonna fire. So we need a couple of things, like for updating the account records on the basis of opportunity records, we need to specify that with all the records in the opportunity objects may not be related to the account object or any account objects records. So we need to just pull the records that are related, they are directly having relationship with the account object. Then only we're gonna execute the proper way. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce set and collect the ID. Let's collect the IDs of all those records which are related to the account object from opportunity object. So now I introduce the set collection method here and this object ID. Now let me introduce the account object also, the list of account object. Let's say is instance is ls account new. This is a simple syntax of listing the accounts. Now we introduce two collection. First one is set ID and second one is list account. The list accounts, this we'll make a use of it later on. But for now, we need IDs. We are just trying to collect all the IDs. They are directly related to account object from opportunity object. So for that, we need to run a loop. Opportunity. The instance is OPP. You can write any names there. So I'm going to pull all the new recent records, the list of new records from the opportunity object. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to running a loop. I'm going to run a loop here, all the list of new opportunity records. And in that loop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick all the IDs. I'm going to add those IDs in this IDs collection. So IDs dot add. We have the instance OPP dot try to say account ID. So we are adding all the account IDs. All the opportunity records, they have account IDs. If they don't have the account IDs, then it will avoid that record. So that way we can make it faster. I mean, the processing time will be faster. We are skipping a couple of the records. Maybe there are opportunity records. Opportunity object might have thousands of records. All thousands of records might not have the account records related. So we don't need those records. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick now the list of account. I mean, these are the list of accounts that we're going to update right after testing the condition. I mean, if the opportunity stage is closed one, then which records that we're going to update, those records should be pulled up now. So let's pull account, select ID, name, and rating from the account object. But what is the condition? We don't need all the records of account object also. So the condition is the IDs, the related IDs. If they have the related IDs, then only those records should be pulled up. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to run the loop for opportunity object and pull all those records. An instance name can give trigger.new. Again, now what you're going to do is you're going to test this record. If the opportunity list in the newly inserted record, if the opportunity list stage name on those record equals to the closed one, this is what our question says. I mean, what our scenario says. I mean, all those records in the list, in the opportunity list, if those records stage name is closed one, then what should happen? We should update all those records, all those accounts, rating scales to hot. So for that, again, I'm gonna run a loop for account object, and it should run up to only what? List of account, because we don't need all the records. Only those related records are needed here. So in that, what we have to do is rating scale should be hot. So we're almost done. And After that, we need to update the list of account. Okay, this is done. Writing the trigger is almost done. Let's just see what happened. Duplicate variable. Oh, update. The keyword is mistake. Update. Now let's see. Okay, now we resolve all the issues in the code. Now our trigger should fire. So let's just go to the developer org and see. Before that, I forgot to deactivate those triggers because that might stop inserting the new records or updating any records in the account object. Let's just put the Apex triggers. Let me deactivate these two scenarios. Trigger 1 and trigger 2. That was only for instruction. That's the reason I'm just deactivating. It's not must. You guys can avoid that. Okay. Let me deactivate it. The second scenario. Let me open that trigger. Okay. Save it. Now our trigger 3, scenario 3 trigger is activated there. That is already active. Okay, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open opportunity record. Let's say Burlington Textiles Corporation of America. This account is associated with what? Opportunity. Yes, one opportunity, which is Burlington Textile Weaving Plant Generator. That's the opportunity which is related to this account. So let me go and check what is the rating scale of this account. Okay, rating scale is 1. So let's go ahead, open that opportunity, go to details, try to change the stage name here. This is a variable. This is a field. We should fire the trigger. So our condition is what? Closed one. If that record is updated to closed one, and if the newly inserted record is closed one, stage is closed one, then it should fire the trigger. So record has been already saved. Let's go back to the account. On the account details and see the rating scale. That is hard. So finally our trigger worked. This is how the trigger works. This is how the trigger is executed. Thanks for joining, guys. See you in the next video.